Midlakes is a public school in Ontario County, New York that is split up into two buildings that are on the same campus. The primary and intermediate schools are in one building, and the middle and high schools are in another that are just a short walk away from each other. Due to the location on Route 488 in Clifton Springs, a busier road in the area, all the students are either bused to the school through the bus garage or dropped off and picked up by their parents. The location of the school makes it unsafe for any students to walk or bike to school as Route 48 is a higher traffic road. All of the schools are overseen by Superintendent Sickles, who has an office in the primary school building, and the Board of Education, who generally meet twice a month in the evening. Daily at the schools, the principals make sure that everything runs smoothly. In all, the Midlakes School District has 3 principals, one for the middle and high schools, one for the intermediate school, and one for the primary school. As a public school, most of the funding comes from the state. In the 2016-2017 school year, the high school had 495 students. Of those students, 133 were eligible for free lunches and 36 were eligible for reduced price lunches. That's about 34% of students receiving aid in this way. The school is predominantly white, as in the 2016-2017 school year, 452 of 495 students were white. There were 27 Hispanic students, 7 Black students, and 8 students with 2 or more races during the school year. And as someone who's an alumnus of Midlakes, this is a fairly consistent view of representation. The rural location holds a lot of farmland, so many of the families represented in the school are farm families. While a smaller school in the area, Midlakes does offer its students many opportunities for sports, shown here by the expanse of softball, baseball, and soccer lacrosse fields. They have one groundskeeper who works extremely hard to make it so that the softball and baseball fields are some of the nicest in the area. Main Street in Clifton Springs holds most of what anyone could need or want in a town. There are shops and buildings all along both sides of the street, and even some important structures on side streets that jut off the main road. On Main Street, you can find a couple of little restaurants, including a cafe, a nicer restaurant called Warfield's, Chinese Takeout, and Nima's Pizza. There is a hardware store, a bookshop, and even a barbershop salon. Up the hill is the Clifton Springs Hospital. There are beautiful gardens and pathways that can be walked near the hospital along the sulfur water that runs through the town. Main Street doesn't have everything, though, and just down the road there is a small plaza with a Tops and a diner. There are 2 gas stations near Main Street and also a Dollar General. While the retail outlets in Clifton Springs are fairly limited, the location of the town is fantastic to be able to get to other places that might have what Clifton Springs doesn't have to offer. Clifton Springs is between 15 and 20 minutes away from many other places, such as Canandaigua, Geneva, Newark, and Palmyra. In addition to these larger towns that hold more in terms of commercial spaces, like grocery stores, restaurants, and shops, it is only around a 20-minute drive to get to the Waterloo Premium Outlets to do some shopping. Down the road from the hospital is the Clifton Springs YMCA. They offer spaces to work out, but also have a space that is specific for their children's program that happens most often during the summer. The Y works hard to bring people in the community together and once held a pickleball tournament to bring people out to exercise together. How long have you lived in Clifton Springs?
I've lived in Clifton Springs all my life, so 15, 16 years.
And do you know anything about the history of the high school?
I do know that it was once 2 separate schools, the Phelps School District and the Clifton Springs School District, and then they merged, so that's it.
And do you like going to school at Midlakes?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The people there are pretty cool.
Sweet, thanks.
You're welcome.
Off of Main Street, there are a couple more community spaces. There's first the park. The two playgrounds, one for older children and one for younger, is a great place to bring children to have a picnic, lunch, and play during the spring and summer. Wide open spaces surround the park so there is room to play in the grass as well as on the playground. The large pavilion near the park allows people in the community to host parties at the park and use the facilities for personal use. Across the street from the park is the library. They partner with the primary and intermediate schools so that students can return their public library books at school as well. This gives students at Mid-Lakes the opportunity to check books out of their school library and easier return to the public library. You can sort of tell from my video of Main Street that when I walked around the town of Clifton Springs, there weren't that many people out and about. While this isn't always the case, the few people that I did see smiled and waved as I walked past their shops. As a small town, the people generally know each other and are friendly when they meet along the street. Mid-Lakes combines students from two towns into one school, and the other town is named Phelps. Only a short drive down the road, Phelps offers its community members a community center and a library, as well as a main street that holds many little shops, bakeries, and a pharmacy. The Phelps Community Center is a large hangout spot for students in the area. The Mid-Lakes school area and communities seem to be supportive of the school and what goes on there. The smaller size and close location of many spaces make the area lend well to have a close-knit school community.